Vishvam Purnasikaya. Sri Guru Charana Parama Kevala Bhakati Sadma Pandamui Savadana Nati Pandamui Savadana Mati Hare Prasade Bai E Bhavatariya Jai Hare Prasade Bai E Bhavatariya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hate Krishna Prapti Hai Jahan Hati Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Kariya Aikya Guru Mukha Paramavakya Chitte Te Gauriya Vaikya Anakariyo Mane Asha Aranakariyo Mane Asha Sri Guru Charane Roti Ese Utamagoti Jai Prasade Puri Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Puri Sarva Asha Chakudandi Loje Janame Janame Prabhu se Chakudandi Loje Janame Janame Prabhu se Dibagyan Ride Prokashita Dibagyan Ride Prokashita Prema Bhakti Jayate O Vidya Vinasa Jate Videgai Jahara Charito Vedega Jahara Charita Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Ocean of Mercy Bhaganath Loki Rajivana Prabhupada Loki Rajivana Ha ha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Padachaya Ha ha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Padachaya Evijas Kusuktivana Evijas Kusuktivana Ha ha Prabhu Kodo Doi De Homore Pado Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Kodo Doi De Homore Pado Chaya Evidasu Sutrivana Swapari Laila Sharana Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu 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 Hey Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavani Pasyatya Deshatarine. Haribo. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Aditya Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Gaura Bhaktavinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Tyadito Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Gaura Hari. Balaram, Hoilo Nitai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Gauranga Nityananda. Udilana Purava Bhage Rijamani Gaura Amani Jage. Gaura Akata Samualaya Sate Gilana Garavraje. Totai, Totai, Bajiloko, Gana Gana Tahe Janjirano. Bajiloko, Gana Gana. Piridala Dala Sonanga, Chanamenu Purabaje. Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hare, Bolena Bolore, Vadana Bore. Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hare. Nistene Dava Segilore Roti, Diva Shashari Rasaje. Emana Dulava Manava Deha Sayati Koro Bhavana Keha. Human life is very rare. Do not waste it. Evina Bhajile Jasoda Sutta Janame Pori Vilage. Udita Pana Hoile Asta Dinagelo Boli Hoi Devyasta. Sabe que no eve alasa hoy, no bajari doi raje. Jivanaya nita jana hasar, tahina navida vipadava. Jai Nam, hey Namasaya Kori Jatane Tumi Taka Panakaje. Ivera Kalyana Sadanakam Jogate Asiye Madhuranam, Madhuranam, Sri Nam, Krishnam. Eo Vidyate Mira Sapana Rupe Vid Gagane Viraje. Hey Krishna Nama Sudha Kori Opan Suro Bhakti Vinoda Pran Thakur Bhakti Vinod Krishna Nama Sudha Kori Opan Suro Bhakti Vinoda Pran Thakur Nama Vina Kitchuna Hikoara Joda Bhuvana Maje. Hey Nama Vina Kitchuna Hikoara Joda Bhuvana Maje. Jeev Jago, Ji Jago. Gora Chanda Bole. Gora! Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up. Kota Nidra Jaumaya Pisachira Kole. Bajiva Varia Ese Sansara Vitore. Buliaro hile to me, O Vijyaravore. Tomare loite ami, Huinu avatara. The only friend. The only friend. Amivina bandhu ara ke ache tomara. Nene cheo sauri maya. Nati baro lagi. Take the medicine. Harinama mantra, thou to be magi. Thy Nam, Sri Nam, Krishnam. Thakur, a Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu, Charane Pariya. Thakur. Say Hari Nam Mantra, Lailo Magiya. Say Hari Nam Mantra, Lailo Magiya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaurnitai, Radhe Shyam, Krishna Balaram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadovaya Namaha Yadovaya Madovaya Kesavaya Namaha Hari. Hari Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudan Girid Hari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita Gauranga Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Oh Ranga. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Shri Nam Sankirtan Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai. Nitai, Gaura. Jai Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Radhe Shyam. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jai Krishna Balaram. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur, Hribo, 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 Hribo. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Hribo, 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 Hribo. Jai Go Premanandi, Hari 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 Hari. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Sodara Shishima Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Sodara Shishima Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Kori Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Nam Ki Jai. Navadvip Nam Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Nam Sen Kirtan Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari, oh, glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Just in case you're wondering who was singing on the internet, that was Divanga Prabhu. Ki Jai, Hari Bol. That was very ecstatic. Okay, this is Prabhupada Nectar. In July of 1976, when Srila Prabhupada visited New Vrindavan, he was feeling ill. His secretary announced there would be no open meeting that night. It was raining and Prabhupada stayed in a little house they had provided. He sat in the living room on a couch while Pradyumna read to him from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. I think we already read that. Let's go to the next one. Anyone who has heard Srila Prabhupada knows that he quoted many Sanskrit verses while preaching. But sometimes after preaching he would murmur a verse or a portion of a verse which might serve as a final comment, a footnote, or merely a sign that his divine grace was absorbed in a chain of Krishna-conscious thought. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Srila Prabhupada might be dealing with someone's personal problems, ISKCON management, or whatever, and the quotation could be viewed as a reminder. Whatever Srila Prabhupada did or said, he was always mindful that he was acting as a servant of Krishna and the acharyas in Krishna's disciplic chain. Satrup Das Goswami recalls being present during one of Srila Prabhupada's ecstatic murmuring. It was in Dallas in 1971, and Srila Prabhupada had been reprimanding Satsvarupa for making for different mistakes he had made in the punishment. They then left the room together to go look at the deity of Radha Kalachandji, which was being prepared for installation. As they walked through the hall, that was 1971, as they walked through the hall, Prabhupada murmured, Griheshu Grihamerina. This was the verse he had lectured on in that morning's Bhagavatam class. But by Prabhupada's murmuring it like a little song, Satsarupa felt assured that Prabhupada was completely pure and transcendental, and that his anger was simply instruction for his disciples' benefit. Srila Prabhupada also took genuine pleasure in quoting Sanskrit verses. Jayadvaita Swami recalls one time being with Prabhupada in his room in Brooklyn when Prabhupada quoted a verse by Rupa Goswami. It was a verse that Prabhupada quoted often, but as he quoted it again, the devotees could see Prabhupada was relishing a deep, fresh pleasure. To Srila Prabhupada, it seemed to be another opportunity to associate with Rupa Goswami and serve him by passing on his teachings. Prabhupada used to say, I have already given the example several times. This phase invariably introduced an example that devotees had heard so many times they had long ago lost count. But for Srila Prabhupada, there was no need to invent anything new. The same example was still serviceable, still perfect, still worth quoting it yet again. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Karnapur Prabhu will give us this special class with Srila Prabhupada speaking, and then you will be asked to answer questions afterwards or see how much you remember. And then this evening we'll have Urmila Devi Dasi will be speaking at the Sunday feast, and everyone is invited to come and take part. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Here are the devotees who have assisted their Guru in dressing the deities today. Sri Sri Radhe Sham, or dressed by Nitai Priya Devi Dasi, Chota Radhe Sham, Sachi Sundari Devi Dasi, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram by Rasa Manjari Devi Dasi, Chota Krishna Balaram Ekadashi Vrata Devi Dasi, Sri Sri Gaurnitai by Draupadi Devi Dasi, Chota Gaurnitai Govinda Mohini Devi Dasi, and the Gurus and Lord Nrsingadev by Krishna Kripa Mori Das.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari Jaya Gopi
Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Hari Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kunara Kun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Ananda Kuri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vandeham Shri Guru.
The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 5th Chapter, text number 7, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 29th of October, 1976, in Vrindavan, India.
Sri Rupam Chakrajatam
Yadana pashyatya yata guneham svarte pramata sahasra vipaschit itasmitir vindati tatra tapan asadya maitunyam agaramagya Yadana pashyatya yata guneham svarte pramata sahasa vipaschit gitasmitir vindati tatra tapan asadya maitunyam agaramagya Yadana pashyatiya ayata guneham svarte pramata sahasa vipaschit Gatasmitir vindati tatra tapam asadya maitunyamagaramagya. Chant. Okay. Yada, when, na, not, pashyati, sees, ayata, unnecessary, guna iham, endeavor to satisfy the senses, svaarte, in self-interest, pramata, mad, sahasa, very soon, vipaschit, even one advanced in knowledge, gatasmati, being forgetful, vindati, gets, tatra, there, tapan, material miseries, asadya, getting, maitunyam, based on sexual intercourse, agaram, ahom, agya, being foolish. Translation: even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad if he does not understand that the endeavor for sense gratification is a useless waste of time. Being forgetful of his own interest, he tries to be happy in the material world, centering his interests around his home, which is based on sexual intercourse and which brings him all kinds of material miseries. In this way, one is no better than a foolish animal.
Yada napashyati ajatha guneha sati pramatya sahasa vipaschit vatasmiti bindati tatso tapan asadya maithunna madaramagya. So, one has to be vipaschit, learned, to understand the interest of life, self-interest. Everyone is working, especially the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and mixed devotees. They are working for self-interest. The devotees also, so long there is self-interest also. So, there is little difference that the devotees, they work for super self-interest. there is self, but it is super self-interest. And the Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis, they work for individual self-interest. Self-interest there must be. That is the difference between lust and prem or love. It has been defined in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is the difference between lust and love? It appears almost the same, but Krishna Kaviraj Goswami has given a definition very clear. Atmendriya tripti vancha tar naam kam. When one is interested for his personal sense gratification, that is called kam or lust. And Krishnendriya tripti vancha dhare prem now. And when one is interested for satisfying the senses of Krishna, that is prem. And the concrete example is there in the Bhagavad Gita, that in the beginning Arjuna was thinking of interest of the family. How can I kill my brother, my nephews, my master, teacher, my grandfather, in terms of his family interest? There are, for the materialistic person, there are two varieties of self-interest. One is concentrated interest and other is expanded interest. Just like a child, if you give him some foodstuff, a cake, he will immediately eat himself. And if he is little liberal, then his other friends also he will give. First of all, first is he wants to eat. And then the other friend, oh, you are eating, give me something. All right, you also eat. So, this is called extended interest. And the beginning is self-interest. Anna Brahma. I shall. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. So, in our ordinary activities we find the same thing. Suppose a big political leader, in the beginning, he is interested with his family members, but sometimes he takes the national interest for all members of the country or the society, community, and then there is fight between one community to another community, one family to another family, one nation to another nation, because that extended self-interest does not make the thing perfect. That extended self-interest must be up to Vishnu. Then it will be perfect. But that they do not know, because they have no idea that there is Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, or Krishna. Nati vidu sarthagatin hi Vishnu. They do not know. they think that I have extended my self-interest to my country, to my family. I have become a big man, and people also give him honor. This we have practical experience. But that is extended self-interest. That is not actually philanthropy. Philanthropy is when one becomes interested in Krishna's interest. That is real philanthropy. Otherwise it is all calm. There is no question of praying. It is going on as praying, Desha Bhakti, love for humanity. The whole world is going on. But these are all imperfect things. The so-called philanthropism, altruism, humanitarianism, they are all imperfect. Tate vidu sata gatingi Vishnu. That is not self-interest. Self-interest, just as this finger pick up some nice cake, rasgulla, but if the fingers think that we have got it, we shall use it, all the fingers together, it will be spoiled. But if the fingers think that give it to the stomach, then it will be everyone's interest. As soon as the rasgulla goes to the stomach, the energy is distributed not only to these fingers of the right hand, but the left hand fingers also. This law they do not know. Therefore it is jadana pasyanti, pasyati ajatha guneha. Everyone is trying, communally, nationally, individually, for his or their interest, but that is not good. Sarthe pramat. They do not know what is real self-interest. Jadana pasyati ajatha guneha. Sarthe, everyone should be interested, but sartha. This is sartha, that if you get a nice foodstuff, if you put to the stomach, then real sartha. Not only the fingers which have picked up the foodstuff, not only his interest, jasmin tushte jagat tushte, jatha tarun pranopaharatsa jathendriyana. If you put the foodstuff through this one way, not foolish way, that we have to put the foodstuff within the body, so there are 9 holes in the body, this mouth, the eyes, the ears, and the genital, the rectum, the navel. There are 9 holes. If some rascal says that any hole will do, you put the foodstuff through any hole. Sometimes it is done when one cannot eat, the foodstuff is forced in the body, through the rectum, through the nose. That is very troublesome. But the real process is one process. You put the foodstuff through the mouth. It must go to the stomach. And then the energy will be distributed. Everyone will be happy. Similarly, if we serve Krishna, if we abide by the orders of Krishna and satisfy him, as he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja. That is the perfection of life. If we work otherwise, forgetting Krishna, here it is said, Gata smriti vindati tatra tapa. If we forget Krishna, if we make our own plan to satisfy myself, community, society, nation, this is forgetfulness. And the result will be Gata smriti vindati tatra tapa. You get simply trouble. That is being done, actually. The whole world is forgetfulness of Krishna, or God. Krishna, forgetfulness. And they are making so many plans to become happy. But the result is bindati tapa, simply suffering, simply suffering. It will never be successful. The same example. Jatha tarunmula nisechanena titpanti taskanda bhujopasakha. The process is that you have to pour water at the root of the tree. Then the tree will luxuriantly grow. But if you do not know the process, if you begin watering leaf to leaf, branch to branch, twig to twig, it will simply waste of time. You can say, I am pouring water on this leaf, on that leaf, on that. It will take, you cannot. There are so many leaves in the tree, it is not possible individually you can. But if you put the water, pour the water on the root, it is very easy, and all the leaves and twigs and flowers and fruits, they get nourishment. That is one thing. Jatha tarunmula nisechanena tirpanti taskanda bhujopasakha pranopaharacha jathendriyana. And by offering food to the stomach, all the indriyas, senses, they become vigorous, strong. Similarly, sarvahanam achyutaijya. If you satisfy Krishna, achyutaijya, then the whole society, whole community, whole living means, everyone will be satisfied. If you simply push on this Krishna consciousness movement, then all different activities of the human society will be very, very nicely performed. And if you do this nationalism, communism, it will never be perfect. So, we have got example in our country, many countries, not only our countries, your country also, that President Kennedy, he was killed, many other presidents also. In our country, Gandhi was killed, because in that way you cannot satisfy everyone. It is not possible. The so-called socialism, communism, altruism, humanitarianism will never be able to satisfy everyone. They are not possible. Kamadinam kutidana kutida palita dunnidesa tisana maina karuna jata natrapa no pusanti. These different types of isms, that is simply satisfying different desires. It is not the program. Dharma sanasita punsa vishakshena kathasuja Nutpatayed rating jadi samayvahi kevalam. So, that is simply waste of time. The same thing is repeated. Nati vidu sarthagatengi Vishnu. Durasayadi bahirathamanina. Durasa. People are trying to be happy by so many bahiratha, external desires. Artha means actual interest. And anartha upasamamsarsa bhakti yogam madhukha yoga. Artha means how to satisfy Krishna. This is artha. It is said, arthadam, you can get real interest in this life. Kaumaro achare pragya dharman bhagavatanya durlabhama manasu dharma adhurbam opi arthadam. This human form of life, although adhurbam, everybody, we cannot continue this body for all the time. It will be ended. Dehantara prapta, another body. So, this is the general rule for all living entities, either dog's body or hog's body or man's body. It will not stay, it will not endure. You have to change. Therefore it is called adhurvam. But the special advantage of this human form of life, Prahlad Maharaj says, although it is adhurvam, it will not stay, but arthadam. You can have your real interest fulfilled. Kaumaro asari pragya dharmana bhagavataniha durlabhagaman sangajanma tadapi adhurvam arthadam. This we must understand. That although we have got also a body, and the dog has also a body, the same composition, Kitiya Tej Marumam, mind, intelligence and ego. There is no difference. The dog has also mind, and I have got mind, you have got mind. The dog has also intelligence, we have got also intelligence. The dog also can eat, you can also eat. The dog can sleep, you can also sleep. So there is no difference so far the bodily constitution. Superficially, if you cut my body, there will be blood. If you cut the body of an animal, there will be blood. So, in every respect, so far the material body is concerned, it is the same either of the human being or of a small insect. The same construction. Physiological, anatomical, everything is the same. But the difference is in other body there is no arthadam, but in the human body there is arthadam. You can realize your position. You can act accordingly. You can make your life successful. That is the special advantage of this human form of life. Therefore, it is said, Yadana Pasati Adata Guneha. We are struggling gune in this material world. Gunamai, Maya. Maya is called Guna. Gune means in the Maya. Iha means aspiration. So everyone is trying according to different modes of material nature. Everyone is working, Satagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. That is, everything is gune iha. So when one does not become conscious that I am working under the influence of material nature in different status of life, they are all useless. As soon as you see that it is all useless, sahasa vipasti, that is actually enlightenment. As soon as we find by the guidance of spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, by the guidance of Krishna personally, as soon as we come to this understanding that we are simply wasting our time. So I was able. In the beginning, when I understood one song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Maya base baddho hai, acho micha kaj loe. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, many times he has said, Mayar base jaccho bhese khacho habu dubu bhai. Jiv Krishna Das evi shas korle kar dukkha na. Very instructive, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, very instructive, simple and Narottam Das Thakur. So, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Goain, Manusya Janama Paiya, Radha Krishna Nabhariya, Janiya Suniya Visha Khainu. He is regretting, lamenting, my Lord, I got this human form of life. Unfortunately, I have simply wasted. Why? Radha Krishna Nabhariya. Manusya Janama Paiya, Radha Krishna Nabhariya. It is exactly like drinking poison knowingly. So sometimes we become poisonous unknowingly, sometimes food poison or something poison. But if one takes poison knowingly, that means he is killing himself. He knows it. Similarly, in this human form of life, if we do not come to this understanding, that without Krishna consciousness, I am simply taking poison, then his life is spoiled. Gatasmiti bindati tattva. He'll simply be put into miserable condition. That is the nature's way. You cannot escape the stringent laws of material nature. You will go on suffering. Mrittu samsara vartmani. You will suffer again and again, this body and next body, next body. That is nature's way. But ahankara vimuratma karta aham niti. This rascal, on account of false prestige, false knowledge, false education, he is thinking that I am independent, I can do whatever I like. Ahankara vimuratma karta. We have to give up this. Then vipasti, savaja vipasti. Otherwise, we have to continue the miserable condition of life. Gatasmriti, because we have forgotten our real position. What is our position? Our position is, as described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiver Sarupaya Nitya Krishna Da. Our real position is that I am eternal servant of Krishna. So, Gatasmriti, I have forgotten that. And therefore, Bhuliya tomare samsare asya, pe nanavido batha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song. My Lord, forgetting you, I came in this material world. I am simply suffering, pe nanavido batha. The same thing is there in the Vedic literature, the same thing is instructed by the advanced, enlightened, liberated devotees, the same thing. This forgetfulness. We have forgotten what is our position. Temporarily, because I have got this body in India, I am thinking I'm Indian, so my interest is Indian. Somebody is thinking my interest is American, my interest is Brahmana, my interest is Shudra, my interest is this, that. We have created so many interests. That has to be rectified. Bahusatmika buddhi ekeha kuram. Bahusaka anantascha buddhi abhyavasaya. Be business-like. People say, talk business-like. Why you are talking nonsense? So Krishna says, yes, for businessman there is one interest, real business. Bhavasatmika buddhi ekeha kuram. One who is actually interested in business-like way to make some profit, arthadam, then that is only interest is how to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, you'll manufacture so many interests. Bahusaka ananta buddhi abhavusayana. One is actually not businessman, he is a rascal. He creates so many branches of different interests. The only one interest is how to satisfy Krishna. This is our only business. But forgetting this business, gata smriti bindati tatru tapan. Whatever business we are doing, we are simply suffering. The tapan asadha, he is actually tasting miserable condition. Then how they are working, this is the conclusion of this verse, how they are being baffled in every state, and how they are working so hard. We see people are working so hard, day and night. They go to business or go to office from morning 5 up to 10 o'clock at night. They work, you see in big cities how they are going by the daily passengers, how they are hanging in the buses going. Why? Why they are working so hard? It is not very simple thing. Why they are working so hard? The answer is Maithunna, sex intercourse. That's all. They have no other happiness except that sex intercourse at night he will enjoy, therefore he is working so hard. Otherwise there is no other happiness. Everything is zero. The only positive happiness, he is thinking like that. Janamaithunadi grihamedi sukham mitucham kanduyane nakarayu ivadukhadam. That is the only happiness. There is no secrecy. The people are working so hard, simply maithunamagara. It is a prison house, agara. Agara means packed up, shackled with iron chains. And the only happiness is maithunamagara. And this is only abominable, tuchha. Janamaithunadi grihamedi sukham tuchham. So how he has accepted this lowest class of happiness as the aim of life? Agyan, rascal. The conclusion is agyan. So don't become agyan, be intelligent. And Krishna je bhaje seva rachu. Don't be rascal, don't remain rascal. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, now we can get everybody's recollection of what just happened.
He talked about self-interest, that we should be self-interested, but you have to be free from ahankara so you know what the self is. Otherwise, you do so many other things that don't really help the self.
That we have to be intelligent and not be rascals.
Srila Prabhupada basically lecture on the simple analogy that everybody can understand of feeding the stomach, and then the nourishment will go over all over the body, and anything else will not be effective.
That our real self-interest is to take to this Krishna consciousness, otherwise our life is useless, like drinking poison.
In the verse by Rishabdev, he was saying, you may be learned and wise, but you're mad. Most of the lecture was on the mad part. If you don't understand, so you're learned and wise, but you're mad if you don't understand the use of your time for sense gratification is simply wasting time, useless waste of time. And he says, and that, what will you do? He said, you'll just engage in sense gratification based on sex life, and what the result will be? Misery. But in this way, you're no better than an animal. So each one of those points he explains so nicely. Each one of the mad, the animal, the misery, and watering the root. We spend a lot of time on that.
Well, I have little to add, but I was mentioning that Prabhupada definitely talked about the animal and human being, that you cut either and they will both have the same reaction, they will bleed, that kind of thing. And of course I was a little distracted in the kitchen.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see what we can remember of what he said. Anybody remember what the first thing Prabhupada started to talk about was? Yes? There's trying to figure out, no, he said something before that. He says one has to be something. Yes, self-interest. Has to be, there's a Sanskrit he used, vipaschit, learned, to understand the interest of life. And he talked about the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and mixed devotees. What are they doing? They're suffering. Why are they suffering? Yes, they're working very hard. Why are they working so hard? For self-interest, that's right. That's the problem. They don't understand their real self. They're working for their self-interest, and therefore all they're getting is suffering. So the difference with the devotee is that he's working for what? Yes, Krishna's interest. Use an interesting term in this respect, but also contain the word self-interest. That's right, super self-interest. So then he said that's the difference between two different things. This work, yes, very good, lust and prema. That's the difference when you're working for Krishna or you're working for your own sense gratification. And he said that's defined somewhere. And he gave that's right, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very good. Any idea which verse that was? 165. Yes. Yes. When one is interested for his personal sense gratification, that is called kam or lust. And Krishnendriya Pitti Icha, and one works for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is prema. And he gives a concrete example. That's right. Good point. That's a trick question. Yes. 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 Concrete evidence is there. Well, he gave a little inkling of what it was. He said a little something about it. He talked about, of course, Arjuna. And what was Arjuna? Yes, about killing the relatives. So, because he didn't want to fight because he was thinking of interest of the family, and the bodily concept. How can I kill all my relatives? And he gave example of particular relatives that were there that he had to kill. Remember some of those? Yes. His grandfather, yes. Yes, his brothers. Well, the only other one he mentioned there specifically was nephews. And he separated the materialistic people into two varieties of self-interest. Yes, and concentrated. Actually, he used expanded, concentrated and expanded. Then he gave an example. No, not yet. He comes later. Yes, cake. How's that cake an example? Yes. And who are you? A child, yes, that's it. Yes, the child, he gets the cake. Yes. So the child thinks first of himself, oh, let me eat. And then he gets a little bigger. He can expand his self-interest beyond Anabrahma. Then he gives another example of the grown-up. Yes. Yes. Interest in family members, and then on to nations, country, society, community. Yes? When you think beyond yourself, that is a pious endeavor. And then what is the result when all of these people are expanding their self-interest? And confusion leads to fighting. Yes, and there's fighting between one community and another, one family and another, one nation and another. So then he said the extended self-interest must be up to who? Vishnu, very good, yes, up to Vishnu. Then it will be perfect. And he talks about people giving honor. Why do people give honor? That he mentioned. Because they've expanded their self-interest beyond just themselves to their country and others. And then Prabhupada said he's got practical experience about this extended self-interest. What does he say about that? He gets into that, yes. Let's see, is that the very next thing? No, he goes into something else before he gets onto them. He gets into three-letter, what's it, suffix? Suffix. No, 4 letters, sorry. No, there's 3. A 3-letter suffix that goes to a lot of people. That's one of them. Isms, yes. What are some of the isms he mentions? Yes. humanitarianism. And then he lumps all the altruism and philanthropism. And then he says this is not actually philanthropy. So, what is actual philanthropy? Yes, when one becomes interested in Krishna's interest. That is real philanthropy. Then he gives the example. Well, it starts someplace else. I mean, it ends up in the stomach, but where's it? Yes, the finger starts with... Yes, the fingers wants to pick up the rascal. And the fingers independently, what do they want to do? They want to try to enjoy themselves. Maybe they can get a little feel for the texture, but it's not going to nourish them, right? So obviously they have to get smart or listen to higher direction and give that rascal to the stomach. Then what happens? Yes, the other hand also gets satisfied. Yes, he says, there are other options for nourishing the body. Yes. And who would do such a thing? Yes, a foolish person, a foolish way. Unless, of course, it's for medical reason. And then he mentions the 9 holes. Then he talks about, gives a quote from the Bhagavad Gita about serving Krishna. Remember idea which verse that was? Nope. You're a long ways away. Yes. Sarvadharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Which verse is that? Yes, 1866. And he gives that a label, if we follow that. Something of life. Perfection. That is the perfection of life. Then he goes back into trying to satisfy your community, nation, whatever. And what do you get as a result of that? You get simply trouble. Simply trouble. All that humanitarian effort you're making, all you get is trouble. And he stresses that. And then the other byproduct of trouble that you get is, yes, suffering. You really pounded in the suffering. And it will never be successful. Try very hard. You get trouble, suffering, and unsuccessful. And he gives another example about this principle of the stomach and the fingers, and that's the other major example people give about, yes, trees and roots and water. And even if you did, the tree would not be happy. But thanks a lot, but I really need it on the roots. Yes, that's right, luxuriantly grow. The tree will if you just put the water on the root. And he says, some people may even object, well, I'm pouring water on this leaf and that leaf and this one and that one. So many leaves. But you won't get the proper nourishment for the tree. So then he talks about Krishna consciousness. What does he say about that? If you simply do something about this Krishna consciousness movement, then what will happen? And what's the something you need to do? Push on. Push on this Krishna consciousness movement. And then all the different activities of human society, what will happen with them? They'll be very nicely performed. Very nicely performed. Now, or if you try to do nationalism, communism, what will happen? It will never be something. Never, yes, that's the question. That too, perfect. He's a little more general, lenient in this. Instead of saying successful, he says it'll never be perfect. Then he gives an example in his country and some other countries. Yes, Kennedy and Gandhi. They were trying to act for nationalism and interest of the country, and they were simply killed. So by following, this socialism, communism, altruism, something will never happen. It's something you'll never be able to do. Refers to a lot of people. You'll never be able to satisfy everyone. And therefore, they tried hard, but somebody wasn't satisfied and they took it out on them. Then he gives a quote from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Which verse is that? Yes. First canto. 8. Very good. 1, 2, 8. How's it begin? Dharma. There you go. Swanustita punktam. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Very good. Okay. So that is simply waste of time. That same thing is repeated. Nate vitu swakatim. Where's that quote from? That's the 7th canto. That's right, he takes off on that one particular word, right? Artadam. So what does he give as the meaning of arta? What is arta? Interest. Yes, means actual interests. And he gives another partial quote from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.6. Yes, that the living entity is forgotten what is their real interest. So real arta means how to satisfy Krishna. And he gives another full quote from the 7th canto. Let's see. 761. Anybody recall 761? Give you the first word. Kumara. Archared. Pragyo. Dharman Bhagavata Iha Dulavam Manasam Janma, yes. So he says, this we must understand. What is that we need to understand? The importance of the human birth. And then he goes into how we can understand that. Yes, trying to point out that we're not animals. So what does he say about emphasizing this point? He gives examples. Yes, that's right. Yes. The body of an animal, he's got the same facilities you do. And he gives, three, actually more, starts out with 3 different examples in the subtle area that they have the same as you do. Yes, mind, intelligence, and ego. They also have. There's no difference. And then he goes on to more grosser things that we have in common. Eating, yes. Sleeping, yes. And then he goes into the blood. So in every respect, as far as the material body is concerned, same. And he gives another type of living entity, mentions also same. Very small. Yes, a small insect. So what is the difference then of those in the human form? What should they do with their life? Yes. Well, not just improve, but make their life perfect, successful. That's the special advantage of this human form of life. And he talks about one of our previous acharyas. Yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What does he say about him? Let's see. Mayar Boshe Jakobashe. Jeev Krishna Dasi Vishwas. Poison. Yes, he talks about poison. What does he say about? Yes, if you know it, then what are you doing? Killing yourself. So why does he mention that? Is that what everybody's doing? They're knowingly drinking poison? Except, do they really know? Is that what they're doing? Yeah, they've got no clue they're drinking poison. But they're still killing themselves. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Bhaktivinoda was saying, that, because he knows better, but still he's drinking the poison. Then he talks about nature's way and gives a quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Nature's way? What is he? Which way of nature is he talking about here? If you start drinking this poison, what's going to happen? Besides dying, you're going to suffer. Yes. So and then obviously from the result of so much drinking poison, you're going to get another body and another one, and that's nature's way. You get more and more bodies. But then he says, but ahankara, Vimudatma. Which verse is that? 327. Yes. The Vimudas? Well, he gives into quite specifics here about the rascals that, after quoting this verse, that on account of something, that they're thinking there's something, on account of, he talked about false things where they're thinking they have. What are false things they think they have? Prestige, knowledge, education. And as a result of those, what do they think? And then they think they're independent. Yes. I can do whatever I like. Ahankara vimudatma. So if we don't give this mentality up, we're going to have to continue the miserable condition of life. Because we have forgotten our real position, which is, what is our position? Yes. What's the verse he partially quotes there? Jivera Swarupoy Nitya Krishna Das. Yes. Any idea where that's from? Yes, very good. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, our real position is that I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. And then he talks about if we've forgotten what is our position, temporarily we're thinking we've got this body in different locations. What are some of the locations? Yes. And then different classes. Brahmins and Sudras is the only other one he mentions. But then he gives a quote from the Bhagavad Gita about creating so many interests that has to be rectified. Yes. Which verse is that? How does it begin? I thought you just said it. Yes, Vyavyasmika Buddhi. Yes, Ekeha Gurunandana. 241. So that means we have to know what our real business is. Then he talks about business-like. What's he say about business-like? Yeah, some people, accuse the Hare Krishna of not being business-like. Get real, get a job. That's their idea of being business-like. So what is Prabhupada's response to that? What is real business like? Well, what is the businessman? What is his object? Yes, how to make money, how to make a profit. So, but there is only one real interest, which is going to make us profit that'll be worth something. And that is to become Krishna conscious. So, and these other people who are not actually businessmen, who are simply rascals, what do? They create so many branches of different interests when there's only one interest, how to satisfy Krishna. And the result of these so-called businessmen, whatever they're doing, is that they simply have to suffer, simply suffering, tasting miserable conditions. So why are they working so hard then, if that's all they're getting? Yes, so they can get that little bit of enjoyment at night. He gives some examples of how they're suffering. And how do they get there? Hanging on the buses. Yes. Yep. And he gives an example of where we all are and how we're contained here. Where we all, the analogy that we always, yes, the prison house. This is a prison house. And then, how are we packed up here? Packed up. Shackled with iron chains. And the happiness is Maitunyam agaram. Yes, abominable. Tucham. Yes, let's see. So then he talks about accepting something very low. So how is it we have accepted this low class of happiness as the aim of life? Yes. And then he labels them again, rascal. So the conclusion, he gives a conclusion, one last word. One word that you need, something you need to have in order to not be a rascal. Yes, intelligence. Very good. Agya. Be intelligent. Don't be a rascal. Don't remain. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.